Have you ever stopped to wonder, what happens when the career you poured your heart into just ends? Not because you chose it, but because someone else decided it was time. Welcome to the Beyond 60 podcast, where we dive into the real, raw, and sometimes beautiful moments of life after those middle years. I'm your host, Sarah, and today we're talking about something that hits deep for so many of us, when the end of a career doesn't feel like a choice, but a punch to the gut. Joining me is the incredible Susan, someone who's walked this path and come out stronger. Susan, it's so great to have you here.
Oh, Sarah, thanks for having me. And yeah, that gut punch feeling, I know it all too well. Let's just say I didn't expect to be retired at 63.
I hear you. And I think a lot of folks listening are nodding along right now. So let's dive in. You spent, 28 years building a career you were proud of, helping people, making a difference. Then one day it's just gone. Layoffs, restructuring, whatever they call it. What was that like for you?
It was like the rug got yanked out from under me. I mean, I built this thing from the ground up, Sarah. I was respected. I changed lives. I thought I was valuable. Then September 2023 rolls around and I'm out the door. They didn't even blink. It felt like being thrown out like yesterday's garbage. I kept thinking, did any of it matter?
Oh, Susan, that's so raw. I can feel how much that hurt. I was talking to a friend in Arizona just last month who went through something similar. Decades at a company, then a reorganization at 64, and poof, he's out. He said it wasn't just the job loss, it was the feeling of being erased. Did you wrestle with that too?
Absolutely. It's like, who am I now? I wasn't ready to stop. I applied for jobs, networked like crazy, rewrote my resume 100 times. Laughs bitterly. Nothing. Not a single callback. I started thinking, maybe I am over the hill. It's humbling, you know? You go from being an expert to feeling like you're invisible.
That's such a real fear, feeling invisible after being so seen in your work. But let me share something I heard from a mentor in the Midwest a few years back. She said, "You didn't fail the system, Susan. The system failed you." And she went on to start a little consulting gig, helping younger folks in her field. It wasn't about the paycheck. It was about reclaiming her value. Have you found anything yet that's helped you start to shift that defeated feeling?
I mean, it's been a process. At first, I was just angry. I'd sit there thinking, I worked my ass off for 28 years, and this is the thanks I get? But then I started volunteering at a local elementary school, reading to preschoolers. It's not my old job, but those kids, they light up when I show up with a book. It's like maybe I'm not invisible to them. That's been a small win, you know?
That's beautiful, Susan. Those kids are lucky to have you. And you're so right. Those small wins can start to rebuild that sense of purpose. It reminds me of someone I spoke with in Florida recently. He was pushed out of an IT career at 63, felt totally lost, but then started volunteering at a crisis line. He told me it's the most meaningful thing he's ever done. It's like the system may have let you go, but the world still needs you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I get that. It's just hard to let go of the idea that my value was tied to my paycheck, you know? But hearing stories like that, it makes me think there's more out there for me. Maybe not a corner office, but something. I'm not ready to just sit in my garden all day as much as I love my pollinator beds.
Oh, tell me about this garden. I heard you turned your yard into a pollinator paradise. That sounds like a victory in itself.
Oh, it is! During the pandemic, I ripped out my old lawn, bye-bye water-guzzling grass, and put in native plants for bees and butterflies. My husband built these amazing raised beds for veggies. It's not just a hobby, it feels like I'm doing something good for the planet. But Still, I miss being part of something bigger, you know? Like the workforce was my stage, and now I'm backstage.
I love that metaphor. Backstage. It's like you're waiting for your next cue. Let's talk about that bigger stage for a moment, but let's shift gears to something else a lot of folks face when retirement comes unexpectedly: the financial side. I know you mentioned starting Social Security early. How's that been for you, navigating that uncertainty?
Oh, Sarah, it's been a roller coaster. I wasn't planning to take Social Security at 63, thought I'd hold out for bigger checks later. But after a year of no job offers, I had to. It's enough to get by, especially with my husband's income, but it's tight. I worry about healthcare costs, especially before Medicare kicks in. A friend of mine got hit with a $5,000 bill for overpaid disability benefits after surgery complications. I shudder. That kind of thing keeps me up at night.
I hear you, and that fear is so real. Nobody wants to be blindsided by a bill like that, but let me share a story that might lift you up. I was talking to someone in California last week who was in a similar spot, laid off at 62, worried about money. They sold their big house, moved to a lower cost area, and started doing yoga at a sliding scale studio. They told me, "Sarah, I'm living on less, but I'm happier than ever." Have you thought about any creative ways to stretch what you've got?
Hmm. We've talked about downsizing, maybe moving closer to my kids. One of them offered to let me live with them, and at first I was like, no way, I'm not that old. But now I'm thinking it could be nice spending time with grandkids, saving on rent, and I've been looking into part-time gigs, like tutoring. Someone told me I could make decent money helping kids with math or reading.
Tutoring, that's such a great idea. I know a guy in Texas who's an engineer by trade, and he's making $250 an hour tutoring rich kids for Ivy League prep. Not saying you've got to go that intense, but your skills could be gold in a classroom or even online. And moving closer to family, that sounds like a win-win. What's holding you back from jumping into something like that?
I guess it's the fear of starting over. Like, I was a pro in my field, you know? Tutoring or moving feels like admitting I'm done with that part of my life. And honestly, I'm still a little mad at the world for making me feel disposable. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true.
It's not dramatic at all, Susan. It's human. You gave so much, and it stings to feel like it wasn't enough. But here's something I've learned from talking to folks like you. Your value isn't tied to that old job. It's in you, in your wisdom, your compassion. Those kids you're reading to at school, they're not thinking, "Oh, Susan's just a volunteer." They're thinking, "This lady makes stories come alive." That's power. Have you felt that shift at all? Like you're starting to redefine who you are outside of work?
You know what's funny? The other day, one of those preschoolers hugged me after story time and said, "You're my favorite book lady." I mean, that hit me harder than any performance review ever did. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm starting to see I'm more than my old job title. But it's still hard to let go of that identity, you know? Like, who am I if I'm not that Susan anymore?
Oh, I get it. That identity piece is huge. I was talking to a woman in Ohio just last month who said after 36 years in healthcare, she felt like she'd lost her entire sense of self when she was forced to retire. She said, "Sarah, I wasn't just a nurse, I was nursing." But then she started volunteering at a community garden, teaching kids about plants. She told me it's like she found a new version of herself, one she didn't even know was there. Have you had any moments like that where you're starting to discover a new Susan?
Mm, I think the garden's been part of it. I know it sounds silly, but when I'm out there with my hands in the dirt watching the bees buzz around, I feel alive, like I'm contributing something, even if it's just to the butterflies. And volunteering at the adult ESL program, too, I'm helping people who are starting over, just like me. It's not the same as my old career, but it feels good. like I'm still useful.
That's it, Susan. That's the spark. You're not just useful, you're making a difference in ways you probably don't even see yet. Let's talk about another layer of this because I know health challenges can really complicate this transition. I've heard stories of folks being forced out because of a stroke or a surgery, and it's like a double blow, losing your job and your health at the same time. Have you had to navigate anything like that?
Not me personally, thank God. But my brother-in-law had a stroke a few years back, and it forced him into early retirement. He was loving his job at a utility company, had a pension lined up, everything. Then boom, one day, he couldn't read or move like he used to. It broke my heart watching him struggle, not just with his health, but with feeling like he'd lost his purpose. He's doing better now, but it's been a long road. Have you seen folks come through that kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the toughest hands life can deal. I spoke with a guy in Florida recently who was in a car accident, 20 fractures, a traumatic brain injury, the works. He was 60, just retired by choice, and suddenly his retirement became about recovery. But you know what he said? He said, "Sarah, it's all about perspective. I'm still here, and that's what counts." He's focused on small victories, like walking without a cane. It's inspiring. What's helped your brother-in-law find his way?
He's leaned hard into physical therapy, and he's got this stubborn streak that's kept him going. He's even started helping out at a local community center, teaching basic computer skills to other seniors. It's not paid, but he says it makes him feel like he's still got something to give. I admire that, you know? It's like he didn't let the stroke define him.
That's powerful. And it's a reminder that even when life throws us curveballs, we can still find ways to show up. Let's talk about that showing up piece, finding new ways to contribute. I know the job market can be brutal, especially with ageism out there. Folks tell me they feel overqualified or just ignored. But I've also heard about people finding unexpected paths like tutoring, consulting, or even working at a hardware store. Have you explored anything like that yet?
Oh, I've thought about it. I applied to a few places, even looked at a front office job at a school district. But get this, they wouldn't hire me because my master's degree meant they'd have to pay me more. Can you believe that? Too qualified. But I've been thinking about tutoring, like we mentioned. Or maybe something totally different, like working at a garden center. I love plants. And I heard places like Ace Hardware love hiring folks like me, dependable. You think about that?
I love that idea. A garden center sounds perfect for you with your green thumb. And you're so right about places like ACE valuing experience. I was chatting with a woman in Colorado last year who got laid off from a tech job at 58. She started working part-time at a hardware store, and she said, "Sarah, I'm having more fun helping people pick out paint than I ever did in a cubicle." Have you looked into any local spots like that yet?
Not yet, but you're getting me excited about it. I can just see myself surrounded by plants, helping someone pick out the perfect tomato seedling, and I've been thinking about starting a little side hustle, maybe selling some of my extra veggies at a farmer's market. My husband's been encouraging me to try it. It's scary, though. Starting something new at my age.
Oh, I get that fear. Starting over is daunting at any age, but especially when you've got decades of expertise in one thing. But here's something I've learned from folks I've talked to. Your experience is your superpower. I know a guy in Texas who started a bait and tackle shop at 75. He said, "Sarah, I'm having the time of my life and nobody can fire me." What would your dream side hustle look like, Susan, if you could wave a magic wand?
Oh, wow. I think it'd be something with gardening and teaching. Maybe running workshops on how to start a pollinator garden or grow your own food. I've been posting about my garden online, and people love it. I even thought about making a YouTube video explaining how to use a circuit breaker. Can you believe how many young folks don't know that? Maybe I could be the helpful garden grandma online.
Helpful garden grandma. I'm stealing that for the podcast title one day. But seriously, that sounds like a fantastic idea. You've got this wealth of knowledge, and people are hungry for it, especially younger folks who didn't grow up learning those practical skills. I mean, you said your mentee ran out of gas because nobody taught her how to refuel. That's exactly the kind of wisdom you could share. What's the next step you're thinking about to make that happen?
You know, I think I'm going to start small. Maybe offer a free workshop at the community center and see how it goes. I've got a friend who's been begging me to teach her how to grow herbs, so that could be my test run. And maybe I'll finally figure out how to record that circuit breaker video. My kids keep telling me to get on YouTube, so why not?
Why not, indeed? Susan, I'm so excited for you. You're already finding these new ways to shine, and it's inspiring. Let's wrap this up with a big picture question. After everything we've talked about, feeling discarded, navigating finances, rediscovering your purpose, what's one thing you feel confident you're going to do next to embrace this new chapter?
I'm going to lean into this helpful garden grandma thing. Whether it's teaching workshops, making videos, or maybe even working at a garden center, I want to keep sharing what I know. And I'm going to keep volunteering. Those kids and ESL students, they remind me I've still got a lot to give. It's not what I planned, but I'm starting to see it as a gift, a chance to do things on my terms.
That's beautiful, Susan. You're not just surviving this, you're thriving. And I know everyone listening is cheering you on. Before we go, I want to share something a wise woman in Oregon told me last week. You didn't fail. You've successfully survived a system that uses people up. Now, go find what makes your heart sing. Susan, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today.
Oh, Sarah, thank you. This has been more fun than I expected. I feel a little lighter already.
That's what we're here for. To everyone listening, thank you for joining us on the Beyond 60 podcast. Keep exploring, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.